Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of NintendoFuse's Game Chat. Today, I am joined by Greg,
Hi, everyone.
and we are going to be discussing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 2, The Champion's Ballad. Greg, what did you think about this? What have you done so far in it?
I've completed all of the new 16 shrines, defeated the divine beasts, and unlocked defeated our special boss friend for the Master Cycle. I did the full circle of it, so all shrines are completed, both DLC packs completed, all the side quests are complete.
Now,
Everything's good to go.
what did you think of the format that was used, where you get the one hit annihilator, and then you had to go to these four specific areas and defeat all the enemies and the shrines without getting hit? Just to start off, did you think that was a good way to start it, or?
Um, I didn't really I didn't think it was the best way because obviously it has you go into like the Shrine of Resurrection, and then you're like, oh wait, there's this new thing I can insert the Sheikah Slate into, and then it's like, oh, here's the one hit annihilator just hiding out in the Shrine of Resurrection. Um, the one thing I didn't like about that was you could actually use like your arrows and other weapons because basically that made it a lot easier to just even if you're only at a quarter of a heart. Um,
Yeah, I abused the heck out of the bombs. Like the unlimited bombs, I just roll and throw and blow up and like hide and just keep doing that to make sure they didn't come near me.
Oh yeah, like especially the arrows, like, oh, there's a nice arrow. You're frozen. Ha ha ha, you can't attack me.
I had like 200 and something thunder arrows, and it was like everyone's getting electrocuted, dropping their weapons, and I'm running up and just smacking them all. Like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. It was like, oh, I killed you with the one hit annihilator. Oh, now I need to go hide behind this tree while you try to find me, and then oh, now I can reuse it again. Thwack.
I did save more often. Like I'd kill a few, and then I would save just in case, because I realized, hey, if I save and then I do get killed, I don't have to kill those initial people, again, and just made it a little
Yeah,
easier.
I learned that after attempting the forced one first with the bokoblins, and
Yeah, that was the first one I did too, because it's right there.
I ended up doing the was Alphos one completed first because I was getting too frustrated because it was like, oh, the stupid bats are killing me, and like I was trying to climb the trunk, and I was like, I can just snipe everybody, and then all of a sudden this huge flock of keys just came out of nowhere and just like, whoop, you're dead, and I'm like, what?
That came after me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I quickly grabbed the bomb arrow and I fired one into the middle of it, and I just outran them as like half of them fell out of the sky and they disappeared. I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" Like that spooked me. But you didn't have to actually kill them, which was interesting. That happened with another one too, where there's a beehive, and I didn't realize it was a beehive, and I'm just walking. I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And the bees killed me. I'm like, "Oh, well, that stunk." Really? And
Died by
like,
bees.
you don't have to kill the bees either. They're just a hazard.
Yeah, it
But
was mostly yep. I think
okay,
like even in the ice one, you could like there was actually the ice bat, like ice keys that you didn't have
yeah,
to kill either. So
yeah, just environmental hazards. Now, what did you think of the shrines? At least the initial four. Let's start with the ones
they
where
were
you couldn't get hit.
they were definitely very creative. Like the obviously, I know the spike one is the one that gets a lot of heat because you had to pretty much reload the entire shrine every time you like made an error. And I couldn't tell you that I had to like at least do it at least 10, 15, 20 times because I would just get so impatient in the last section and then I'd have to do the entire thing over again. But the designs were pretty good. That's definitely the one that stuck out was the spike dodging all the spikes. I'm trying to think of the other ones offhand really quick.
Yeah, the spike one definitely made my palm sweat.
Oh, the upgraded test of strength one that was
That
like,
one freaked me out at first. I'm like, seriously, no. And then I realized, oh, I just had to hit him once, and I did that, and I got the chest. I'm like, what now? And then I'm like, oh, there's more. Oh no.
See, now I took it like I was like, oh shoot, I gotta be like dodging. I gotta use like the shield reflex. I was like hit him with a couple arrows, and it was like, this is not doing like any damage. And then I was like, I wonder if this thing actually kills this boss in one shot. And I was like, oh, that was very easy.
Yeah, it killed me a couple times because it just fired at me right away. At first, I was like, "Wait, I didn't even get a chance to block." What the heck? But yeah, that was the two. The other ones weren't as as memorable. There was one where you were like going into like different canals, and they had guardians were shooting at you, and then afterwards you had to like jump across and kill four guardians, and
But I
and
think that was all part of the test of strength one. That was like the lower.
was that part of the test of strength one?
It
Maybe
was
that
like
was.
all the area below because it was like I
Maybe
think
it
I'm done, and
was.
then like you went to like go where the monk normally would be, but then it was like, oh, here's a switch, and the platform like sunk, and
Maybe that was that one.
yeah.
But yeah, I expected the whole DLC was going to be using that one hit annihilator, and then afterwards it just departs and you never use it again. You can't even use it just for fun. I found that kind of be just like I felt like maybe we should have been able to pick it up and use it just for fun, like
Yeah.
just play around. Hey, how many enemies can you kill before you get killed? Can you use it on Ganon? What would happen if you just bring it to Ganon?
And that's probably why they limited it to just the area, but because that's like what happens if you have to go defeat one of the divine beasts or something. But
Well, you can't do it until you beat all the divine beasts, so I don't think that's really an issue. You have to beat all four divine beasts to unlock that.
okay, I didn't know if it was like that first section or just the subsequent returning
No.
parts.
Now, when with afterwards, when you go to the four areas and you see those three pictures each, how did you like that part with the clues? Like, did you just look it up and say where are they? Did you try to piece it out on the map? Like, how did you tackle that?
Well, I actually took pretty much both, or I guess three ways of approaching it. Um, I went to Gerudo first. I didn't have any idea that I could just look at the podium and it showed me three photos. So I did the old-fashioned way and went all the way around the desert trying to figure out where to go. Um, I had the one clue that you could talk to the queen or whatever, and she'd be able to help you with one of them. And then like to find like the rings in the desert, I just was walking around and like, hey, there's a blue light. I think that's is, and solved it. And then like it's
Did you
like
use the sand seal for that one?
actually I did not. I used the sand boots.
Yeah, I used the
That's,
sand seal on that one. I have the boots, but I just used the seal.
I did the old fashioned just running with the sand boots. A couple stamina potions and no problem. Actually, it was
Yeah,
only one of them. I just would have to like do the run and walk and like, oh shoot, almost out of stamina. Stop, let it recharge.
I
Start running again. It's gonna disappear.
Yeah, I kind of felt cheap that each of them had a ring thing. Although it was interesting that they were all different ones. I think you're supposed to do sand surfing for the one. There's the shield sledding for another, the hang gliding or paragliding for
Yeah,
another, and then the up the waterfall for the last. I thought that was interesting that they were all different, but it almost felt like these are always
reused.
the same. Yeah, like
Yeah,
reused.
and then there was usually always like a boss type one too, and it's
Only
like,
two of them
oh,
had boss ones.
well, yeah, there was the
Sand
fire.
and the fire had boss ones. The water one had a bunch of guardians you had to kill, like flying guardians,
I guess that's
and
kind of boss.
and the wind one had the targets. It had the rings, and what was the other one with the? Oh, you had to shoot the big dragon. That's not really you shoot the horns of the dragon. Like that's not really a boss at all.
Yeah, that's definitely not a boss on for that one. But yeah,
But
oh,
yeah, what did you think of the actual shrines now? Those 12 shrines. What did you think of these? You can use anything you want. You can get hit multiple times. You can die in the middle and fall off, and you don't have to start over.
yeah, that part was kind of nice. I think the biggest disappointment was not getting more spirit orbs. Actually, the
Oh,
last two.
that is a
It was like, oh,
gripe.
here's a
Why?
temporary. It's like here's a little emblem that you'll never need again. But
I don't understand why they didn't give us the last 8 spirit orbs to finish everything. That irks me, especially when they went ahead and they gave us 4. Why not just
yeah,
give us the other 8? Like, make 8 more shrines just for fun. Like, let us finish it at this point. Come on.
completionist, no.
I know it stings.
But yeah, my definitely the most frustrating one was the one in the Drudo with electricity, and you had to like use all the different like all the metal boxes and like the chains and stuff to like connect the huge
Really?
circuit.
That
That was
was your
that was like my hardest one that I spent way too much time to try to figure out.
I that one wasn't that hard for me, although I kind of cheated because I had a crappy metal weapon and I just threw it in the water and it worked as well, even though you don't need to. Um, but for me, by far, like all 11 of the 12, I put at a difficulty of maybe a 6 out of 10. Maybe a few of them were at 7. But for me, the one that was a 10 out of 10 or even an 11 out of 10 was the hidden staircase in the water one, where it was just a waterfall with those 2 blocks, and you had to figure out a way to get up there, especially to get that chest. That took me so long of trial and error, and a lot of like gravity, using the magnesis to get it up, and then quickly switching to the ice, and then quickly making an ice platform and like hoping to make it. Like, oh, it was just that was
Yeah, so
annoying.
so the guiding the ball one, yeah, that was definitely probably my second hardest one.
Guy in the ball.
Isn't that the one where like the big ball just came out and you had to like put in the ice blocks in the wall and then
No, no,
you had
no.
to
That
like
one was annoying too. No, it's the one where it's just a waterfall in front of you, and there's 2 blocks, and they're on risers, and you have
oh
to
yeah, that one, yeah.
the
That
ice
one,
wall.
yeah, I guess that was my third hardest one.
That was to me that was a nightmare. The only problem I had with the water, that was, I think, the one with you're talking about was probably my second, and the hardest part of that was just the perception. Like, you had to run between those 2 spots, and several times I'm trying to aim and I fell off just because I couldn't see, and like it almost felt like if that wall was just a little closer, it would have been easier.
Yeah, I ended up just doing like I saw somebody say like you just like climb up there and hit it with stasis and it solves it right away and that's
Really?
yeah, because like by like the chest area on the one side you can like make a couple blocks and go up there and you can like
Yeah.
go all the way up by it next to the ball and actually like use like stasis on it and hit it.
See, that's what I like. There's multiple solutions for these puzzles. I didn't even know that. Now, wow. I think one of my, like, the polar opposite of that one, which was more entertaining for me, was the one in the wind area where you actually can go onto the platform that the ball's falling, and you have to move stuff around and hit switches and make ice platforms and stuff like that. I thought that one was really cool in
Yeah.
comparison. Now, did you get all the chests? Because each of these
Yes.
had a
Yep.
had a chest in it,
Yep.
which thought was kind of cool. Just a hidden one.
The hardest one was definitely the one where it was just like tumbling down the thing and you had to catch it in the little cup.
That was the first one I got. That was the first dungeon I did of those, and I caught it right away. In fact, I was going for a ball and I caught it, and so wait a second, this isn't the ball. I just got lucky, I guess.
It was definitely one of the most painful chests. And then the other
That
one,
that one wasn't one of those 12. That was one of the
one of
dungeons
the
on the
four,
Great
yeah,
Plateau. Yeah, that was a
one
Great
of the first
Plateau one.
four. Yeah. Yep, that was definitely like one of the hardest chests. Also with the electric one, I didn't like having to use the motion controls and line up all those things just exactly so you can get the current over there. But
There was a lot of use of motion control, and I think that was one of the biggest complaints about the initial 120, were the ones where you actually had to move around the room. And I was surprised to see that mechanic used 3 times. It was used in 3 of them. And in fact, that one you were talking about with the lasers, I was moving left to right. I had no idea I could go up and down for a while. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes it semi easier.
yeah, like the other one where you had to like guess how many of the balls were inside the
Yeah.
thing and you could barely see the little hole and like oh I think there's 4 green ones in there and, but I did like the conclusion where you actually got to like open it up and get the chests and like oh yeah there was definitely a couple of like the metallic one in there.
Yeah, it was definitely creative. I would say they were very creative and very challenging. Uh, and I thought finding them could have been a little better. I think I think it was nice that you can take an avenue of looking at the pictures and trying to piece together clues. But I think there should have been some more clues that were completely optional, so you can choose how you want to find them,
Yeah.
pretty
As I
much.
said with the Gerudo, I did 100% blind. Just was like, okay, I'm just exploring the desert, and found all three locations after a couple hours. Probably a lot longer than it should take. But then, like for Zora, I started doing that again, and then I couldn't figure out how to get the last one, and then I realized I could actually get like a photo, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
take a photo.
So then, like the fire and the wind ones went by super quick because I just like, okay, I gotta go here, 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 boom, three parks on the map, boom, 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 done.
Yeah, that's why they have the camera there. So in fact, that's the first thing I did is I stood on the platform and I'm like, all right, let me take pictures of these as reference. Like I
Yep.
knew I would have. Now, speaking of pictures, I don't know if you did this or realized this, but if you were taking pictures throughout the game of all the enemies, or you bought the pictures from the NPC for all the enemies, there were 4 new pictures to take in the DLC that you could not purchase. So your Hyrule Compendium is actually not complete if you didn't get these 4. Did you do that?
I didn't complete the compendium, but I think I might have snagged the four extra photos.
The 4 extra photos were the one hit obliterator, which you can still get. It's still
Yeah.
sitting there. Was the new fire golem, the from the Drunia part, the new sand molderm that you have to
Yeah.
kill, and then the final boss.
Yeah, I believe I had got all four of those. I believe.
I actually missed the final boss, and after getting the cycle, I went right back into that dungeon, ran up to him, took the picture, jumped off the edge, realized that wasn't going to work, and just teleported away anyway. And said, "Okay, bye. Thanks for the photo."
What really helped me out is because the first time I went through the game on normal, I was not taking photos of like the Ganon blights, and I was actually able to had the opportunity to actually retake all four of those photos. So
Now, see,
that was pretty nice.
I didn't realize. Like, I thought about like, oh, should I take photos of those? And I kept forgetting. But you could also purchase the pictures. Keep that in
Yep,
mind.
yep.
With enough rupees, you could just fill up the compendium. So let's talk about that. After your initial 3 shrines, you will fight the Ganon Blight, except you are not as overpowered. You do go in with your current hearts and your current stamina, but that's it. Everything else is predetermined. Your weapons, your armor, your items, your food, everything is even your arrows. Everything is predetermined for you, so that you do get the divine beast powers. Those ones do come in. But what did you think of that? Did you find that extra challenging? Did you like that? Did you not like that?
Well, considering I did the Gerudo one, like I used the Master Sword, I didn't realize how much harder it is to do when you can actually knock your sword out of your hand. So that one gave me a lot more problems than any of the other ones. But once I guess once I realized like, oh wait, I can use a Burst of Fury. Okay, you're dead.
Yeah, the that one gave me problems, and Water Blight gave me problems. I never liked Water Blight Ganon. I think that's my least
Yeah,
favorite.
he was yeah, that one was a lot harder without having all the arrows and yeah,
The other,
I think it was just something like you didn't have a good reach to get him because he was moving around too much
yeah,
lot quicker. So
the Wind Blight Ganon was still just as easy. It's still the easiest of the 4 by far. He was nothing.
and I
Uh,
even thought the Firelight one was extra easy as well because obviously you use like the bombs and stuff. So it's like oh, you're still easy.
Yeah, Fireblight was probably the second easiest, but I thought that was neat, and you can also refight them anytime you want now, which is cool because you couldn't do that before. So let's talk. After you do all this, you get the final challenge, which is the 5th divine beast, so to speak, It's much smaller than the others. It's just pretty much a corridor with 4 rooms. Each of the rooms is based off of each of the other divine beasts in terms of element. There's a fire room, there's a wind room, there's a water room, and there's a earth room. What did you think of? Or the earth room is actually electric, it's using electricity. What did you think of this dungeon?
I thought it was pretty nice the way how everything was together. Like you obviously had to get like the gear going in each of the rooms, and it usually even required to like even access. I think one or two of them you actually had to get trigger some sort of element to get that like even enter. But everything seemed to flow pretty nicely. It was nice to have like challenges, and then even after you beat a few of the rooms, and there was like guardians appearing in the main room, so it even gave you like some extra extra enemies to fight too. So um, I thought everything was pretty nice. The I think the electric room was the one I did last, and that was one of the harder ones, I thought.
I'm trying to remember what my last one was. The electric room was that the first room you can go into?
I don't think so. I did like the fire room first, I think.
Yeah, well, fire room is first, and then electric. The fire, electric, and then wind and water, or water, wind. I forget which order there. Fire room was definitely first, and fire had that annoying puzzle at the end where you had to keep changing the direction.
Yep.
But yeah, I wasn't a terrible fan of adding in the guardians in the middle. I never like when games do that, where it's like, oh, you hit this button, new enemies will now suddenly appear. It's something like Resident Evil does. Like, oh, there's no enemies in this hallway at all, but oh, you picked up the key, now suddenly there's enemies. Like, I always hate that in games. I like to have that knowledge of, oh, I was in this room, and it's going to be the same way when I enter again. But they weren't terrible. It was just kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, the Sky Guardian kind of sucked, but
Yeah, he stunk.
I actually blow off the propellers, actually kill him because I ran out of ancient arrows.
Yeah, what did you think of the gear mechanics where you actually had to pull, gears and spokes and have them, connect with other gears to make things move?
I definitely thought that was a little bit more creative because none of the other dungeons really did stuff like that. So it was like good connection pieces to like open the doors and trigger puzzles that way. So
It
that
fits
was
too for a motorcycle.
yeah.
And
Find the key to the motorcycle.
now let's talk about the final battle without spoiling who we're fighting. What did you just think of the battle?
To be honest, I actually thought it was a lot easier. My brother was saying he had to use all these potions, and was struggling so much. And then like I didn't even die. I didn't have to like use a lot of healing items, and I was like wasn't terribly difficult. I mean, the one where he cloned into several parts was probably the most annoying, but um, other than that, the other ones were pretty straightforward. I thought.
Yeah, even when the platform started rolling like this, I was thinking like, oh my god, it's gonna be so difficult. I'm like, oh, this is pretty easy. like,
It's like out Magnesis, take the ball, smack him, boom, done.
like I went in for like I usually do is like, here's my test run. I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna just see what to expect, and then go in for a second, and I beat him on my test. Like, okay, that wasn't so hard, but he was
Yeah,
fun, and
yeah.
that's the key. He was a fun fight. Now, the reward, of course, is the Master Cycle Zero. Uh, did you mess around with this at all, or?
Just a little bit. I was like, oh, I summoned it and then rode around a little bit in like main Hyrule field, and I was like, I got it. I'm pretty much done. It's like save. Well,
I do agree that it's almost like this would have been useful in the when you have so much of the game to do, but at this point it almost feels like an afterthought. It's nice, but it does feel kind of like I could have used this so much earlier.
yeah, it would have definitely come in a lot handy earlier too. So it would have helped you navigate a lot of different things, especially when you couldn't find a horse or too lazy to teleport to a stable to get a horse.
Now, what did you think about the story segments? Because I'm sure you saw that trailer that they put out at the Game Awards, and it was What an epic trailer! Is the story segments what you expected? Is it better than what you expected? Is it worse than what you expected?
I
Not
did,
spoiling, but
yeah, I did like the background of all the characters. I thought that was pretty nice. Um, I did wish there could have been a lot more though. Obviously, you kind of see like why they became champions and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I felt like there still could have been more than just like a cutscene that unlocks. It's an additional memory, but I don't know. It seems like they could have gave more history of the land or something.
yeah, I agree. I liked what they gave us, but all it did was leave me wanting more, and I wanted to see more. Like, as nice as the Master Cycle Zero was, I would have killed for the reward to be to go into the past and just walk around a pre-blight, Hyrule, and explore Hyrule Castle Town, and see the champions, and talk to the champions, and see that world, because you only get glimpses of it. And
Yeah.
especially the final, like, you get a final cutscene and you're like, oh, here we go, and everything's going to be great, and they take a picture, and it's cool. I don't know if you know this, but you could take that picture you get and actually hang it in your house. If you bought the house and you go into your house, there's a little cutscene that will play, and you could choose to hang it up on the wall and get it out of your key items.
Oh,
So if they're
I did not do that.
see, there's something else you can do, but
I
that's
have
all
done
you.
those things.
But I wanted more. Like that was a cute scene, but it didn't show anything. Freak, what's her name? Mephilia. She has all these feelings for Link, and talks
Yeah,
about them, and never, like, you never get a moment with the two of them to just see that. You're told it, but you never see it. And you can read her diary. I'm not gonna say, there's other story things. You can read her diary, and she talks about her meetings with Link, and that's cool. It's nice. I wanted to see that though.
yeah, but that's all text, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's one thing if it was like a video diary or something, but it's like just all text, and you're like, oh, okay.
yeah. I wanted a little more. Now there was more to this DLC. There was a couple pieces of armor you could get, as well as the horse armor. Uh, did you collect all this stuff? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I definitely collected everything. I didn't like the ones finding in Hyrule Castle because those were
Oh,
kind of vague, but
wow,
the
those
other,
sucked.
yeah, I was like, oh, where's this room again? Like, oh, all the way over, like, because you don't get to like see like the little white text, be like, oh, the dining room's over here, and
Yeah,
Zelda study was over this way, and the cellar was this way. It's like, nope, you gotta find it all. It's like, okay, here's another room of it's all closed. Okay, you're all dead. But
yeah,
yeah, the ones that really threw me off were definitely like a lot of the ones. Well, I guess most of them were all in the forest, so it was like my treasure chest on the shrine or the Sheikah sensor kept going off because I all the chests were there, like the non chests. So it was like, oh, is here it is? Oh no, oh man, just 30 arrows. No.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. There were a lot in there. The one under the claw. There's one under a bridge. There's one behind a statue. Like, they're all in that forest. One in the water, the waterfall. Like, there were a lot there. As for the Hyrule Castle, the one that got me was the one on top of the final boss area. Like, getting on top was something I hadn't done before. I never went up there. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
I did
yeah.
find like two or three Korok seeds over there finding that one.
I've only found one new Korok while doing everything, and it was just like walking to a location. It was the one behind the horse god. I was on my way to the horse god. And let's talk about that. They finally give us a new horse armor that has the ability to teleport the horse anywhere you are. Thank God. And then they give us the Master Cycle Zero. So what was the point? Like, if they had done this in DLC Pack 1, okay, I can see it. But now you have Master Cycle Zero. What are you using the horse for?
Yeah,
Like, you're not using the horse anymore.
yeah, I think the horse armor should have been in the first pack, definitely.
Oh, by far. It defeats it. Uh, I think one of the biggest problem with the DLC armor is that it can't be upgraded. Like the Phantom Ganon armor looks so awesome. Like, oh man, we can play as Phantom Ganon, and it's so weak compared to the stealth set. And like you can upgrade like the amiibo armor, which is a pain in the butt because of star fragments, but at least you can upgrade it. This you can't do anything. It is weak as it is. No, they don't give you any real new ability except for one let you not be frozen, but you can do that with the full cold set anyway. But
Yeah, the
like
Rito set, yeah.
yeah, I wanted to see something new, something cool, like the what's his name now from Link Between Worlds? Why can't I think of his name? The merchant. I don't want to say who he
Rabio.
really. Fabio. Yeah, I don't want to say who he really is because that's a spoiler to that game. But like, what if his like it lets you is climb to the side faster, which is nice. But what if it like let you talk to merchants and get things cheaper or something like that, or gave you exclusive items, like something to do with his merchant past? Yeah, the climbing to the sides is obviously an homage to A Link Between Worlds, and that would be fine too with it there. But still, uh,
Yeah, I think something that could have helped reduce the price of like obviously there's a lot of armor to buy in the game and you constantly using rupees and anything to help chip away some of the price would have been a better thing. Like if you're wearing the armor, then you get to have a whatever 10% discount or something.
yeah. So I would have liked to seen that, but those are minor nitpicks. So now my question to you is the DLC season pass as a whole, because you can't just buy DLC pack 2. You have to buy the whole season pass. So we have the initial 3 chests with the Switch shirt. We have DLC pack 1 with the Master Trials and with the hard mode and with other armor thrown in with like the Korok mask and stuff like that. And then we have DLC pack 2. Um, do you think the entire package is worth the $20? Do you think this was enough, or do you think that we should have gotten more for the $20?
I think as a consumer, I wish we would have gotten more, but as like an avid fan, it feels like it's justified because obviously you can replay the entire game on a different save file. You don't have to delete the original, and then technically have an entirely second experience to redo the entire game. That's a lot of some stuff is a little bit different with new enemies and stuff like that, but new challenges obviously, but. That's what I was saying from a consumer standpoint. I don't think just whatever 16 shrines and a hard mode that you actually have to beat in the game otherwise to even use. It doesn't seem like it might have been quite worth it. But
I hate to say this, but I'm going to agree with you. I really, I bought it day one. I wanted to support them. I really wanted more of this game, and they did give me more of it, but I don't think they gave me enough. I wanted to see more story. Um, I wanted, I wanted those last 8 orbs to complete the hearts or the stamina, depending on how you went. I liked the new armor that they added. I wish it was upgradable. It also posed a new problem. I'm not sure if you encountered this, but you can't actually have all the armor in the game now because there is a cap of 100 pieces. So if you had all the armor in the game before and all the amiibo armor, you can't get all the armor in this DLC. You can open it up and you're stuck. So you have to do things like toss like the Switch shirt because you can buy them back in Tarrytown, but you like if you don't have Tarrytown open, you can't hold all the armor, and that's a problem. They specifically want us to find all this Zelda related armor. It's great that they're doing all these callbacks, but it's so annoying when you can't, especially when you buy the DLC and now you can't hold the armor that you actually paid money for. It's not that, oh, I just found this in the cave, I got to pick. You literally pay real world money for this armor and you can't even use it. To me, that seems like an oversight, and I feel like that they should update that like really quickly.
yeah, I definitely heard of the problem, but I didn't get all the amiibo armor, so I didn't see the issue. So I don't think I got any of the pieces off of the Ganon amiibo, or I
There's
even
just a sword
yeah.
off again, and there's no actual armor off him.
Oh well, I don't know. I know I don't have a complete set of like the original Zelda armor and like the Wind Waker and stuff. I have like a piece or two, but not the entire set.
Yeah, but that's a problem, especially with amiibo, because the amiibo armor, let's be honest, you paid for too. You bought the figure. I mean, you may not have bought it specifically for that, but you bought the figure. So you're paying. If you bought all the Zelda amiibo and the season pass, you're looking at about what $150 extra, and you can't even use it. I mean, like that's over 2 times the price of the game, and you can't even utilize it. Like that's a problem,
Yeah,
and I think that needs to be fixed.
that's why I definitely agree with that. I mean, obviously you want to have like every armor piece. You don't have to like say like, oh, I don't need the worn shirt and the torn pants. It's like
Yeah,
I want to have all of it.
yeah.
I want to look like a slob when I walk around my house.
I
I
want to
need my
have the ability to look like a slob if I want to.
yeah. Or add the challenge. I want to go defeat a Lionel with this one armored item.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the whole freedom of this game, and they kind of restrict it. But no, I do think if you're diehard and you want more, you could do worse. It's there. It's added content. I also think it's one of the earlier examples of Nintendo doing a season pass. They did it for Mario Kart 8. That went really well. You know, they did it for Mario Golf on the 3DS. That went really well. They did it for New Super Mario Bros. 2. I thought that went well. But this, I feel, was not a home run. It was a ground rule triple. It was so close. Um, but hopefully, next time they do better. And now, if this was a $15 or even $10, I would feel completely different. If this was a $10 DLC season pass, I would still have the same complaints in terms of story, but it would be worth it.
But I think I think the cost is more justified. That's what I was saying. If you actually like, I mean, I know I did go through hard mode, almost. I guess close to 100%. Like meaning just basically just about all the side quests and all the divine beasts and the main story stuff. Then yes, but I didn't do all the like, the Korok seeds, and I didn't even find like all the armors, or I wasn't even able to do the trial of the sword on hard mode because it was so hard. But like,
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
do hard mode at all. But yeah, it's something to consider. So if you haven't played this yet and you're interested, hopefully our words will help you make a decision. And if you have already played it, I would love to hear what you think. Let us know in the comments below whether you have picked it up and what you think, or if you haven't yet and if you are going to pick it up. Greg, I'd like to thank you so much for joining me tonight on another game chat here for Zelda.
No problem, man.
And for all your Nintendo news, please go over to NintendoFuse.com and check out our YouTube page. We have a lot of videos coming every single week, from reviews to gameplay to news to industry talk to our podcasts. We appreciate everything. Please like, subscribe, share this video. Let your friends see what we think about Zelda DLC. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Check out.